All right, folks, happy Friday. We got a critical update as XRP hits major support. Trump doing a little flip-flop on Bitcoin. Uh-oh, don't tell the Bitcoin bros. And by the way, it's absolute carnage in our markets right now. And I'm talking about the stock market, where we have seen about $3 trillion worth of market cap wiped out from major indices and stocks this morning due to growing fears of a global recession. The manufacturing data came in yesterday, not good. Jobs numbers came in today, also not good. This is the worst day for stocks since March 16th, 2020. Now, if you've been paying attention for my cryptocurrency analysis and where I think the broader markets are, going to be heading, I've been talking about a correction before we get to the election, right? And that's a nice little tagline right there, right? Correction before the election. Here it is. We're watching it right now. And for the cryptocurrency space, like I said, we rip off the Band-Aid. We get liquidated, we get cleaned out, but then the bounce should be strong. For the stock market, just in a few days here, you've seen some companies just get completely wiped out to levels that they haven't seen since the 2000s, right? And so the panic is there. The fear is back in the market. Now for us, we're making fundamental purchases, right? We're investing right now into the fundamental theses that we've been holding now, as far as utility with no counterparty risk and limited supply. And we're going to take a look here at the XRP chart just briefly, because I want to show you the levels that we're talking about. A quick back test to 56 cents. We break out of this support that we had up here at the 60-cent level. So nobody likes to see this, right? Nobody likes to see this. But as we've been pointing out, if we did, and I want to make this is very important, because as bullish as I am on XRP, when I think that the broader market's coming back down, as always, XRP is going to be going with it until we decouple. Now, we were starting to flirt with decoupling over the past couple weeks, but I wasn't ready to say that we decoupled yet. I said we're getting close. We're starting to flirt with the idea. But here we are. Markets pull back. XRP pulls back. This is totally normal and what we expect. Now, we do expect eventually, probably when we get the ruling from Judge Torres, the XRP will break out. And just like in the past, probably is going to go ahead and break all of the exchanges. More on that later, but here's your XRP chart back down to 56 cents. And even if we do go back down, right, big time support coming in just above 40 cents. We got that quick wick down to 38 on the 4th of July. Back in April, we also went and tested 40 cents. This is what XRP has been doing all year. Couple back tests, but basically a consolidation in the 50 to 70 cent range, going all the way up here back in March when Bitcoin went to all-time high of 74,000. XRP went up to 74 cents. Right now, we're watching, though, XRP back at 56 cents, presenting a nice little opportunity. Now, the reason why it's so bad out there is because we get this jobs report coming in today off of poor manufacturing data that came out yesterday. The employment growth slows as just 114,000 jobs added in the past month, and the Sahm rule has officially been triggered. Now, I first heard about this from Danielle DiMartino Booth. Huge shout out to her, and her analysis as a former Fed insider is spot on, really, really unique. And she's been talking about this Sahm rule for a while. The Sahm rule that is designed to signal the start of a recession has officially been triggered. It reached 0.5%, as in the 3-month moving average of the unemployment rate is now 0.5% above the low in the last 12 months. Bank of America provided historical context on the previous times it's been triggered. Now you look, what it does is it shows you that most of the time the recession has already started, right? 4 months prior. Like if we go back to February 2020, you see 2 months prior, December of 2007, 2 months prior, 3 months prior, 3 months, 4 months prior. 5 months later was the only time it happened in 1960. But usually this is showing us that the recession has already started. We are already there, or at least headed in that direction. And so, Danielle DiMartino Booth, she's been saying that when the history books look back at this moment, they're going to be going back to the end of 2023 to say that that's when the jobs recession started. And I mean, the jobs, it basically comes down to two things: the unemployment rate and jobs, and then growth, which is measured by GDP. So although our growth is still, positive 1.6%, we got back over 2% in Q2. This year, it's pretty abysmal, and most of the growth is coming from government spending. Now, when we look at the jobs that have been reported, a lot of them have been lies. The June and May jobs reports were just revised lower by an additional 29,000 jobs. 5 out of the last 6 jobs reports have been revised lower per Zero Hedge. In fact, 10 out of the last 14 job reports have now been revised lower. Not only is the unemployment rate now at a 3-year high, but revisions are the new normal. It's the standard. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have been revised lower just in 2024 so far. What is happening here? And some tallies say that we had 1 million jobs last year that didn't actually exist, that didn't actually happen. So there's huge discrepancies on the initial reading, what we're being told, and then the revisions, the second revisions, the third revisions. Oh, we don't like how the data's coming out. Let's just change how we, calculate it. How we just changed once again how we calculated inflation. We have dozens upon dozens of different inflation metrics. None of them calculate what actually matters, but it's supposed to make us all feel warm and fuzzy inside about the economy, which none of us do, right? And something that we've been talking about, this debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. When it comes to the debt problem, it's big, it's bad, and what are we going to do to solve it? Now, this is where I said Trump just flip-flopped on Bitcoin potentially, because he was telling the Bitcoin bros at the Bitcoin conference that we were going to be hodlers, that we were going to hold on to the nearly 1% of the Bitcoin supply that the U.S. government holds through confiscation, through criminal activities, and basically our federal marshals and other agencies confiscated that Bitcoin. And it's about 1% of the total supply. Trump said that we were going to be hodlers. RFK Jr. said that not only were we going to be hodlers, we were going to buy 500 Bitcoin per day until we acquired 4 million Bitcoin. And now we have Senator Loomis coming out with the Bitcoin bill that's going to create a strategic reserve for our government to hold Bitcoin and potentially buy more. So we get all pumped up. And then 2 days after the conference, what happens? Well, the U.S. government moves $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and we don't know if they're going to sell it or not. And now we have Trump coming out here today saying that maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion debt by handing them a little crypto check, handing them a little Bitcoin. Wait, hold up, President Trump. I thought that we were going to hold the Bitcoin. Now we're going to sell it? Now we're going to use it to pay off our debts? Which I don't think is a bad idea. I actually don't. And this, you talk about manipulation. If we come out with the policy of, we're going to be hodlers and we're going to start buying Bitcoin. I mean, what's that going to do to Bitcoin, right? It's going to send Bitcoin, and it's going to really, we would expect that would shoot Bitcoin up in price. But then if we turn around and then dump it, right, it's going to go both ways, right? We have the ability, a unique position as the U.S. government to manipulate the price of Bitcoin as if they already haven't been, right? Just like, happened under Trump's first administration when the CFTC approved the CME futures. They bragged about how that killed the Bitcoin pump. And they talked about how Bitcoin was getting too out of control. They issue CME futures for the institutions to be able to short Bitcoin. And then once they were able to make those bets, well, sure enough, they killed the Bitcoin pump. And it kind of feels similar to what we just went through, where we got pumped up for Bitcoin Nashville, the Bitcoin conference. We're going to be hodlers. And then 2 days later, after Bitcoin pumps up to 70,000, the U.S. government moves 2 billion Bitcoin, and we don't know what they're going to do with it. Are they going to hold it? Are they going to sell it? Is this current administration going to offload the Bitcoin before Trump can come in? And now Trump himself saying that, well, maybe we can just hand them a little crypto check. Listen in here, folks. This is Donald Trump on Fox Business.
Who knows? Maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand them a little crypto check, right? We'll hand them a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion. But how do you? Who knows?
I love it. I love it. We got our Bitcoin. We got our gold. Rosie Rio says that the gold is in the vaults. I trust her. I trust her on that one. Hopefully, I pray that we got the gold. And I'm praying that we add XRP as a strategic reserve asset as well. As I've been saying, I'm glad that we're having this conversation and the potential for us to actually, ride Bitcoin up this bull run and offload some of it. We're watching other governments that are doing the same thing. And as I was saying, why is Germany, why are some of these governments dumping their Bitcoin right now if they, the consensus across the entire space is that Bitcoin's going to go above 100,000? Michael Saylor says it's going to go to 49 million eventually. So why are these governments dumping it? Clearly, they have a different thesis than the $49 million Bitcoin that Michael Saylor does. And clearly, Trump thinks, hey, there's a move to be had here. First, it's we're going to be hodlers, and now it's, well, we're going to write it up and dump it and sell it and hand, pay back our debts with a little crypto check, which is an interesting idea because we've been talking about the reset, restructure, and revaluation, how do you solve this debt crisis? Not only do you potentially write off some of these debts, which I think they're already trying to do, obviously, and they're probably going to do more, but you also ride the price appreciation up of the assets that you do hold as strategic reserves. One of the best could be XRP. You want to get a 10x? We're looking at XRP with a conservative 10x potentially right now at these levels of 55, 56 cents up to $5. That could easily be done. 10x potential. For Bitcoin, I only see a 2x, at least this bull run. 120 to 150,000 is where I think Bitcoin tops out. Is there a move to be had there? Well, yeah. And a conversation to be had? Absolutely. That's what I'm so happy about, is that we're having this conversation about what we should hold as a strategic reserve. Now, this is the other problem, is that we're seeing other Mt. Gox wallets moving billions of dollars of Bitcoin. And now we're seeing Genesis moving $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and ETH for creditor repayments. So basically the crypto the crypto situation is we're still going through bankruptcies, and FTX is still getting dealt with, Genesis is still getting dealt with, a lot of these other Mt. Gox situations. I mean, that's finally done, but there's still more, right? There's all these different situations, and they keep on popping up, and it keeps on bringing in additional sell pressure and bearish activity in the markets on top of the bad macroeconomic situation as well. Wallets linked with Genesis trading have moved 16,000 Bitcoin worth about $1.1 billion and 166,000 Ethereum worth about $521 million in the past hour, likely for in-kind repayments to creditors. So this is all additional sell pressure and activity that brings FUD to these markets. Not good. The beautiful thing, though, that we have in the XRP community is we have certainty. We have responsible behavior coming from the, like I said, the responsible custodians of the reserve currency of the new financial system, which is Ripple, which is an escrow account, which locks up the XRP supply. And Ripple has been, very transparent about what they're going to do. Versus in these other, Bitcoin, Ether, there's no cap on Ether. We don't know who the disguised whales are. For Bitcoin, there's a bunch of hidden wallets as well, and early wallets. Every once in a while, this wallet with 10,000 Bitcoin, it gets activated after 10 years, and you just get dumped on by some random guy that got in on Bitcoin early, right? With XRP, of course, there's some whales that can manipulate the price some, and obviously Ripple has a real good grasp of the XRP market and control of that, but they've been transparent, they've been forthcoming, they've been showing us how much they hold, how much they're selling, how much they're buying back. They're buying back a lot of XRP, they're buying back a lot of their own stock. And I wanted to show you guys this in regards to, what we can expect. Ripple's escrow has now dipped below $40 billion. So we're now at 39,500 million XRP is how much XRP is held by Ripple, right? So it's total XRP held by Ripple is 4.6 billion, and the total XRP subject to on ledger escrow is 39.5 billion, right? So, right, we got a little over 40 billion XRP is what Ripple holds right now, and it's very clear what they're doing. They're not dumping it on exchanges, even though that they have the ability to. They got the ruling from Judge Torres that selling programmatically to exchanges is not an investment contract. Ripple could be dumping on exchanges right now. They're not. They could be dumping on retail. They're not. And they're only selling in accordance with on-demand liquidity. They're buying back a lot of that XRP. And I think that they're doing a good job to not impact price going up or down. They want stability, and they've done a good job of distributing XRP in a way that doesn't bring sell pressure. And one of the things that we just covered yesterday was they're spending $10 million to the tokenized T-bills fund that's coming onto the XRP ledger. So they're spending $10 million there. They have 1 billion XRP that they're going to provide in grants for Korea on top of all the other initiatives. And that's that transparency, that forward guidance that we don't get from the Federal Reserve. What kind of forward guidance are we getting from the Federal Reserve? Remember when they told us that inflation was going to be transitory? Remember they told us everything's fine, and then they rug pull Main Street economy by raising rates at the fastest pace in history? What sort of forward guidance is that? And then they flirt the idea of cutting rates. We were supposed to get 6 last year. We were supposed to get 7 this year. Here we are. We still no rate cuts. We still don't know if they're going to cut in September. Everybody's hoping and praying and begging that they do. We don't know if it's coming. There is no forward guidance. What sort of forward guidance do you have in Bitcoin? Well, you don't know. any other day, some, Bitcoin bro who got in early could just dump on you. These governments are dumping on us. These platforms that are going bankrupt are having to sell off their assets. I just saw a post the other day about how much early VCs control of Solana supply, upwards of 10%. See, these are guys that we don't know. We can track wallets and kind of watch the movements when they happen, but we have no sort of forward guidance. Compare that with what's happening in the XRP ecosystem. It's completely different. And I think that Ripple has been industry leading in their transparency and efforts of handling the XRP treasury account, we could call it, right? The XRP escrow is the XRP treasury. Ripple's been doing a great job, completely responsible, and I really appreciate that. In my next video, I'm going to drop a full update on the Q2 markets report from Ripple, but I just want to share that point on the escrow. And then Crypto Michael, he's been sharing, he's one of these trader bros, and he says, the only coin I refuse to sell is XRP. It is at a major support right now. Hopefully it holds, but even if it were to break, the absolute worst case scenario would be a bottom of pennant, 44 cents before a huge bounce. I will simply buy more if it continues down. Now, here's the chart. Like I said, my trend line takes us to about the same level. I'm right at about 42 to 45 cents. Absolutely. We could see it. Definitely, as I've been expecting, correction before the election. Prepare yourself accordingly. But after after this bounce, this thing's ready to rock. And like we've been talking about, it's pretty conservative to say that XRP is going to, has the potential to 10x this cycle. But anyways, in the meantime, folks, we're going to watch this market in the middle of a correction, watching this war, continue to pray for peace. In regards to XRP, I'm going to update you guys with the Q2 market report from Ripple. It's looking good. Despite a down market across the board for crypto, less activity, less volume, we're starting to see that there's still value getting locked up on the ledger and a lot of institutional adoption starting to reveal itself. That's why I titled the video yesterday, XRP Endgame Being Revealed. I talked about how Ripple is the strategic partner with the US government and many other governments around the world for that matter. And XRP is the strategic asset that could be added to the balance sheet of our US government, or we could be doofus morons and just keep stacking our Bitcoin and not any XRP, right? We'll see. Or we could partner up with Ripple and get ourselves a big bag of that XRP escrow. So interesting to watch. I'll keep you guys up to date. Make sure you guys have subscribed to that notification bell if you are new here. And if you appreciate our updates, please make sure you like this video, share it out far and wide, and everything is at zachrector.com. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.